Hi there, Ruth here again from Gothic Decay. I thought I'd like to show you some of the ways that I actually make my embroidery now. So I thought I'd start off by showing you how I do the backgrounds and then make a series of videos on how to turn fabric into one of these. So as you can see, there's all kinds of patched pieces of fabrics, and as you may have seen from a previous video, everything I use is upcycled. So it all comes from charity shops, eBay, all that kind of thing. So nothing's bought new, and yeah, I'll show you how to create this background. So I start off with a piece of fabric. This is a piece of like a duvet cover. So just start off with that. All you need is a piece of backing. And then all the little scraps of fabric that you don't know quite what to do with, but you chop off things and you keep, are going to come in handy all of a sudden. So basically this is a piece of kind of poly cotton that I've dyed with walnut ink. You can use things that are pre-coloured, it's not a problem at all because they will still show through the dye, but just make sure that it will take some kind of dye. So this poly cotton won't take as much as something like this, but it'll add to all the effects, which is what the things I like, is that you let nature take hold of it and do what it will with your work. So all you need to do is to take these little pieces of fabric and place them onto a larger backing piece. Here we've got some more walnut ink fabric. There's don't quite know what that is, some kind of linen-y thing. That's a piece that came from a rather nasty kit for a cross stitch, but the fabric and the threads were lovely, so I had all of those. So all you need to do then is to stitch them down, or pin them into place and stitch them down. So you can see I'm halfway through one here. So there's again a piece of the trousers that I've got, the linen from there, some of the walnut ink, all pinned into position, and then you just hand tack, little running stitch all the way around. This is a prayer flag that I had when I lived on a boat, and they got all dyed and they bleached in the sun, so they were all bright colours, but now they've kind of gone into sort of dull yucky colours, so I like to use those in my embroidery too. So yeah, pin them all into position and then tack all the way around there like that. So next what I do is I then chop this up into little sections. I tend to do it from the back because otherwise you can get a bit precious about certain sections that you really like, and you want it to be a bit more random. So I just turn it over like that and get a big pair of scissors and chop it into chunks. Then I put it into a pillowcase and I pop it in the washing machine. And when they come out, again these have all been dyed with walnut ink, so they're a little bit brown, but they all come out like this with all frayed edges. So as you can see, there's all of the stitching that's come in. It doesn't matter that you've chopped through it because it all starts to unravel, and that just adds to the texture. Little bits start to peel off. That's absolutely fine, and you get all these lovely scribbly edges. So as you can see, this is how they come out. Just like that. So then what I do is I take a piece of backing fabric and I place these sections so they overlap. So they overlap the edge of the fabric and they overlap each other. There we go, just do it very quickly for now. Then I do what I call Frankenstein stitches. So I take my thread here, which is actually I think a linen thread. Ideally it's going to be something that will take up the dye, because you're going to throw dye all over this at some point, and then you don't want these these aren't so important. This is machine embroidery thread, so this won't dye very well, but it just adds a little bit of extra texture to the finished piece. But because there's going to be a lot of the Frankenstein stitches, I just use a thread that will take up the dye nicely. So I will then pin all of these into position and then Frankenstein stitch them down into place. So I shall show you the there we go. This, as you can see, it's easy to see from the back where the patches are, and then just stitch random stitches all the way down. So pin them into place first and then just stitch all over them, and then you're ready to start actually your embroidery. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of processes involved in this before you get started, but it's it just adds textures all of its own to everything. So it's I think it's worth it because it's something you don't sort of see very often, but it adds a lot of interest into the background. So thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see the work that I produce with these, pop along to gothicdecay.com and have a look. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. Thank you. Bye bye.